Well, joining me live is Andrea Stricker, Deputy Director of the Foundation for Defence of Democracy's Non-Proliferation and Biodefence Programme. Good to have you on BBC News. Well, you've done a lot of research over the years, haven't you, Andrea, on Iran's nuclear programme. So let's get your take on what we're hearing at the moment. We're hearing obliterated, we're hearing only a few months. So what's your assessment?
Thank you for having me. I think what we're seeing is a gradual coalescing around a longer timeline under which Iran could reestablish an atomic weapons breakout capacity to actually build a bomb. And that low confidence initial assessment really should be treated as low confidence. There was not a lot that they could use as far as knowing what had happened to the deeply buried site, such as the Fordow enrichment plant. I think that we will see more in the days ahead, but it is interesting that the CIA director is joining the statements that he sees a longer amount of damage and timeline to the bomb.
Yeah, now just tell us, when an assessment like this is made, what things are taken into account, because of course none of these inspectors can go into Iran quite easily, can they?
Absolutely. So the intelligence communities will be looking at signals. They'll be listening to voices talking about what the damage might be, and then assessing whether those are actually credible or if they're trying to convey some more damage or less damage than there actually is. They'll be looking at thermal imagery, I would expect, and then the satellite imagery. But it's going to take time to know what is below ground, because certainly we can't see underneath the earth more than 90 meters below.
So would you say, Andrea, then, that what we're hearing from the administration, a strong use of language like obliterated, is somewhat premature?
Well, I think they are a bit defensive at the moment. They feel that they've taken a historic action, and they're taking it personally, I believe, the work of the pilots who executed this mission and the U.S. Defense Department. I think we'll see more tomorrow from the United States and Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth as he briefs about newer findings and perhaps new intelligence. But I think we could expect significant damage at that underground Fordow site, given the weight of those massive bombs.
And in terms of, in general, these were 3 sites that were targeted. Would there be any possibility of any other enrichment programs that perhaps weren't hit or we don't know about? I mean, you've done a lot of research on the way Iran operates on these things, so that's why I wanted to ask you.
Certainly, there's a possibility that there could be a secret enrichment plant, and Iran would only need a few hundred of its fastest centrifuges, which it has stockpiled by the thousands, to go to weapons grade. Now, one solace is that they may not have the ability to actually weaponize that and construct a bomb, and they're so heavily penetrated by the Israelis that the U.S. and Israel might be able to stop any such action if they did contemplate going for bombs in the future.
And we're also hearing that the Iranian parliament's approved a bill to suspend cooperation with the UN's nuclear watchdog. So that would effectively mean that it would be even harder to know what Iran is potentially doing?
Absolutely. And I think as President Trump says that he doesn't necessarily need a new Iran deal, he needs to be giving Iran a list of terms that he wants out of this ceasefire. So he needs to say that they cannot withdraw from the Non-Proliferation Treaty. They have to let the IA inspectors back in and have them oversee the full dismantlement of any nuclear weapons program and enrichment-related assets.
And can I also ask you what we know about Israel's nuclear program? Because it's something that's never been confirmed but widely thought exists.
Certainly, Israel has kept an opaque nature of their nuclear policies. So they probably have around 100 nuclear weapons, somewhere in that vicinity. They live in a very difficult neighborhood, and so they have to present their enemies with the ability to be able to strike them back should one of them use nuclear weapons against Israel. And that, in fact, deters their enemies from attacking.
Okay, Andrea Stricker from the Foundation for the Defence of Democracy, thank you very much for sharing your thoughts on that story.
Thank you.